sixth episode begins with a scene from episode 356 of The Rise and Fall of Sanctuary Moon, featuring Flight Captain Hassin and Navigation Unit. They're stranded on a planet. Sec Unit tells us this is a crucial turning point in their romance. Hassin tells Navigation Unit a joke, causing her to laugh awkwardly. It's a love story for the ages. In real life, Sec Unit and Mensah narrowly evaded death by explosion after a mysterious someone took out the emergency beacon. Unfortunately, the hopper is out of commission. Sure, it's structurally sound, but it can't fly at the moment. Mensah remarks that Sec Unit has something protruding from its abdomen, a piece of the printer. Mensah asks if our titular bot has copies of the repair manual in its system. Murderbot admits it cleared said copies to make room for Season 19 of Sanctuary Moon. Mensah is incredulous. How could it shirk its responsibilities in favor of binge-watching a crappy show? Hey, Sanctuary Moon is quality entertainment. Mensah decides to fix the hopper herself. Sec Unit removes the printer fragment from its abdomen. Unfortunately, it starts to leak lubricant. Meanwhile, back at the Press O habitat, everyone scrambles to pack their belongings while Garathan tries to ping Mensah. Rathi asks Pinley and Arata if they need assistance, but our fave couple assures him they're fine. LeeBeeBee thanks Bharadwaj for allowing her to help after Garathan rejected her. They chat about Bharadwaj's scar from the two-headed monster that attacked her. It's clearly still a traumatic memory for her. LeeBeeBee kisses her hand, where the scar is. LeeBeeBee wonders if that was too weird, but Bharadwaj reassures her that it was a sweet gesture. After this, Bharadwaj asks Garathan for an update. So far, it's all radio silence. LeeBeeBee believes Mensah is fine. She has that cute Sec Unit with her. The conversation pivots to ownership of sentient constructs and how the corporation RIM believes they don't have rights. However, Bharadwaj thinks consent and autonomy are important. And she's right. Then, Sec Unit realizes the wires are the issue. Mensah starts having a panic attack, which she mistakes for a heart attack. Sec Unit is used to protecting clients physically, so this is the first time it has observed what's transpiring internally. It reassures her that she's not having a heart attack. It pulls up an episode of Sanctuary Moon that alleviates anxiety. Mensah sits beside it and notices it quoting the episode verbatim. Mensah finds her heart rate slowing and her breathing more regulated. She smiles at Sec Unit and seems to understand why it loves this show so much. Next, Sec Unit rises to its feet as it inexplicably spouts gibberish. Suddenly, it collapses. It has lost too much lubricant from the damage inflicted by the printer fragment. Later, Garathan asks LeeBeeBee why she joined the Deltfall survey team. She explains that Deltfall purchased her indenture from her previous employer, Syscom Souls. She had 4 years left, but participating in this survey is knocking off time, so she could be finished in 2.5 years. Then, LeeBeeBee plans to buy a license for childbirth with her earnings. Bharadwaj is confused. In the Preservation Alliance, you don't need a license to have children. There, the community comes together to help fund childcare, education, medical care, etc. The way it should be. The chat pivots to the gaps in the maps. Deltfall had the same issue. When the team would approach the areas omitted from the maps, the two-headed creatures tried to eat them. Then, when the team returned to the habitat, the rogue Sec Units carried out a massacre. Garathan and Bharadwaj comfort LeeBeeBee. Well, until she produces a gun and trains it on them. LeeBeeBee demands that the pair give her access to their hub system. Meanwhile, Sec Unit wakes up on the floor of the hopper. Mensah improvised. She hooked Sec Unit up to the hopper, utilizing the hopper's lubricant to revive it. She figured both shared a similar lubricant. This gives Sec Unit an idea. They could use fiber from its spine to repair the hopper. After all, human tissue is used to fuel a lot of things. It instructs Mensah to make the incision in its back, crack open its spinal cord, and remove the fiber strand from there. Murderbot reassures Mensah that it turned off its pain sensors, so it won't feel a thing. Mensah understandably panics as she conducts this procedure, but she gets it done like the badass she is. At the same time, Rathi walks in on Pinley giving Arata a shoulder massage. He offers to massage Pinley's shoulders. We've got a massage train here, folks. Rathi asks Arata and Pinley how they feel about Sec Unit being rogue. Arata is fine with it. However, Pinley is in panic mode. Then, Bharadwaj calls the trio downstairs, where they discover LeeBeeBee is holding her and Gurathan hostage. Thankfully, Sec Unit uses its fiber strand to power up the hopper, so our dynamic duo is on the way home to save the day. Meanwhile, LeeBeeBee explains that Gurathan will grant her access to Hub System, including all the maps. Gurathan claims he can't. LeeBeeBee shoots him in the knee. Bharadwaj instinctively moves to help him, but LeeBeeBee reveals that if anyone moves a muscle, she'll kill someone. Bharadwaj starts negotiating. She declares she can help LeeBeeBee get sanctuary on Preservation Alliance. LeeBeeBee asks Bharadwaj if the latter can get her millions of credits. Gurathan logs into Hub System. Arata reminds LeeBeeBee that they saved her life. However, LeeBeeBee was never in danger. She didn't work for Deltfall. She warns that the group will meet her employer soon, and more Sec units are on the way. LeeBeeBee urges the crew to give her what she wants. They could walk away unscathed. Then, LeeBeeBee admits the childbirth thing was a lie, before also confessing to orchestrating the emergency beacon explosion. She states that Mensah and Sec Unit won't come to the rescue because they're dead. Thankfully, the gang has little time to mourn before Murderbot barges into the habitat, wrist raised. LeeBeeBee moves behind Gurathan and puts her arm around his neck. She presses the gun against Gurathan's temple. Before she can finish her threat, though, Sec Unit explodes her head. Her body hits the floor with a thud. Naturally, the group all have different reactions to Murderbot killing LeeBeeBee. Wrathy vomits. Pinley bursts into uninhibited laughter. Bharadwaj is in shock. Sec Unit insists they all get in the hopper before LeeBeeBee's employer arrives. Mensah agrees with it. However, before they depart, Murderbot needs to repair itself. We see more footage from Sanctuary Moon as our bot explains that feelings are strange. The humans undoubtedly thought that it was close to becoming like them. Outside, Arata comforts Bharadwaj after the latter bursts into tears. Can they trust Sec Unit after this? Do they see it as a human killing machine?